I started training jiu-jitsu because my whole family was training. They trained, my son started, and then my daughter and husband started about a year later. And then about a year after them, I was hanging around the gym anyway. My professor at the time and my husband were on me all the time, so I finally jumped in and kind of wish I'd have started 2 years earlier.
Jiu-jitsu's changed my mental life just by how much more confident I am just in everything that I do. It's so incredibly challenging. Things that used to challenge me before just seem like not such a big deal.
My initial fear from training jiu-jitsu was that I was going to get smashed by someone much larger, heavier than I was, and that I wasn't going to be able to conquer the technique and be able to be successful at it.
The most common misconception I always think about when training BJJ is the association people have with jiu-jitsu and MMA. People see the brutality on the pay-per-view events and on TV with UFC and everything else, and in reality that brutality isn't there.
Mentally, jiu-jitsu's changed my life. I started at a really hard time in my life, and it helped me push through that. And I can still feel a difference when I don't train consistently, that mental break that it gives you. You're on the mats and someone's choking you and you have to stop them, so you really can't think about anything else.
I've noticed that jiu-jitsu mentally makes me more confident in my surroundings. I always feel like that if something were to happen, I could defend myself.
I think my favorite aspect of jiu-jitsu is just the community. It doesn't matter where you go. If you run into somebody that trains jiu-jitsu, you immediately have somebody to talk about it. It's such a family-oriented thing that my entire family does it, and we're welcome everywhere we go.
I think the most common misconception is that it's a man's sport. It's something that, I was afraid I was going to be the only girl in class and the only girl training, but it's not at all. Like, we have a great group of women training. Just the community it's welcoming to women as well. I didn't realize it would be going in.
Mentally, jiu-jitsu's changed my life. Just overall confidence. I approach things differently. It's easy for me to take a step back, be more analytical about things.
Jiu-jitsu has impacted me mentally by giving me the confidence I feel like I need to interact with other people in a more open way. I'm not quite so guarded, but I'm also much more confident in my personal relationships as well as work relationships.
When I first thought of training jiu-jitsu, I was afraid that I wasn't going to be in shape enough, that I was too old. I was going to be manhandled by stronger men who were stronger, faster, younger, better shape. But the community of jiu-jitsu is not like that at all. So those fears were absolutely unfounded.
I've been in law enforcement for about 14 years, and I'm just always looking for different methods of self-defense, and this came along. It seems to be one of the most practical things I could be doing.
If somebody was contemplating training BJJ, I would say just do your research, find a good school, talk to people, get in there, get into a place where you feel at home, and just enjoy it.
I started training jiu-jitsu because I had some friends that were doing it, and they said, you need to try this out. So I started by doing a women's self-defense class over the course of 4 weeks in no-gi, and I fell in love with it.
Advice I'd give somebody that's contemplating jiu-jitsu now is just to get started. That's the best thing you can do, is just get started. Whatever reason that's stopping you, just find a way around it and just find a place to go and just get started.
So when I first started training, I was afraid it was going to be really awkward. I had never tried martial arts, so it's very close quarters, and I didn't know how that was going to be with training partners. Turns out, not a big deal at all.
Jiu-jitsu has had a pretty big effect on my mental health. It gives me a place to go where I can just kind of get away from all the stresses of daily life, be around people that I really enjoy, and get a good workout.